Hey everyone, I am kicking things off today with an eyeshadow primer. I've squeezed a little of the Wet n Wild Photofocus eyeshadow primer onto my finger, and now I'm patting it around the eye area, anywhere that I'll be adding shadow, and this will just help the shadows to adhere a bit better to the eyes and last all day long as well. So I'm going for a one brush smoky eye today for two reasons. One, because I know you like them, and two, because my cat smashed my laptop screen. I can barely see as we speak, so it's a quick video for me to film and I don't want to miss a week of uploading. So the brush I'm using is a Coastal Scents blending brush. It's quite large and fluffy, and the reason I've chosen this brush is because it's great for adding a nice wash of colour into the crease of the eye. It'll act as my transition shade, but then I can adapt my brush and make it more dense for precision work. If I started with a dense blending brush, it's not as if I can just make that appear fluffy for blending, so I'm just adding a couple of layers of that light warm brown now from the Wet n Wild palette into the crease using large circular motions and windshield wiper motions to fade it out, and I'm making sure to pull the shadow outwards on the edge of the eye to give a nice winged out effect to the shadows. If you've watched my previous one brush videos, you'll know the drill. If not, at this point I'd use a small bullet shaped brush to add shadow down along the lower lash line. However, we're just using one brush today, so I've tied a little elastic bobble around the brush to tightly pack the bristles together, and now it works the same way. You could use your fingers either to squeeze the bristles tightly together, but when I'm filming I use stick-on nails and I don't trust myself to get that close to my eye with those nails. I definitely poke my eye out. So then I'm taking the bobble off the brush now, and I'm using the fluffiness of the bristles now to really blur and fade out those edges. Next then, I'm taking this rusty red eyeshadow, again on that fluffy blending brush. I've tapped some of this down on the outer third of the lid, and now I'm sweeping the shadow across into the crease. I'm just using circular motions again and making sure to pull the shadow outwards at an angle on that outer portion of the eye. And as always, I'm adding a couple of layers now to build up the intensity, and honestly this look is so quick and easy to do. I could knock out the smoky eye in like 5 or 10 minutes and then I'm good to go. So I'm popping the bobble back on my brush again now to squish those bristles together, just to make the brush appear nice and dense, and then I'm sweeping that red shadow down along the lower lash line too, making sure as always that it connects with the shadow on the lid. I don't want any gaps on that outer corner. You want the shadow to connect and flow. Next then, I'm taking this warm brown from the palette and I'm going to start adding some depth. At this point, because I'm applying this shade to a smaller area, I would switch to a smaller blending brush just so that I can be a bit more precise, but I'm going to add back on the bobble now to adapt the brush, and the further you push the bobble up the brush, the more tightly packed the bristles will be, and therefore will it pack on more shadow. If you want the brush to be a little fluffier, keep it closer to the ferrule, and if you want more control and want the shadow packed onto a small specific area, then move the bobble further towards the tips, right at the bristles. So I've just smoked the brown now onto the outer third of the lid, and I've taken the bobble off just so that the bristles are splayed out a bit more, and it's going to help me blend the brown, and I'm just running over those edges. And then it's rinse and repeat. So I've popped back on the bobble now because I'm adding a second layer of the brown. I'm just tapping it onto the outer corner, and once I'm happy with the placement, then I'm taking off the bobble again, running over the edges then to soften them and to make sure the brown then fades in with the shadows that I applied previously. So bobble back on now to coat the lower lash line. I'm running some of the brown down along there now, and as always making sure that it connects up on that outer edge. So I'm switching palettes now. I'm taking the Nude Awakening palette. This is a black eyeshadow in it, and I want to add some black to really define the eyes. So with the bobble back on the brush now, quite far down on it, I'm lightly sweeping the shadow along the upper lash line, just on the outer portion of the eye, and I'm adding it at an angle as well to add some lift to the eyes. I always start with a small amount of black because it's so easy to over apply and it's a hard shadow to work with, so I don't want to cause myself any unnecessary grief. So I start with a little at a time and I build up the intensity. I keep tapping the black down and sweeping it slightly to blend as I go, and I'm gradually making my way towards the crease. And I think I added about 4 layers of the black until I was happy with the intensity and the blend. Once I was happy with the lid, then I moved on to the lower lash line, and I just swept some of the black right into the lash line, only taking it about a third of the way across the eye. For a liner then, I'm taking the number 7 Amazing Eyes eye pencil in black, and I'm closing my eye around the pencil and I'm running it back and forward to coat the top and bottom waterline. At this point then I'd pick up some black on an angled brush and I'd tap it onto the waterline. I'm doing exactly that now with the tip of the fluffy blending brush and it works exactly the same, and the addition of the black here just stops the liner from wearing throughout the day. Then I'm taking this rusty shimmery red now on the side of the fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to use this how I would my flat C-shaped brush. I'm patting this onto the inner half of the eyelid, just patting and pressing the brush onto the lid to apply the shadow. Then I'm picking up some more shadow now and I'm spraying my brush with water, and this will not only make the shadow pop, but when the brush is wet you can manipulate the shape, so it's a win-win. So I'm wiping off the brush now onto a tissue because I'm going in with a lighter shade, and I'm using this light shimmery shade now with the bobble on the brush to add a subtle pop of brightness to around the tear duct of the eye and to also underneath the brow bone area. So as you can see, I've added some lashes now, and I'm using the Wet n Wild Lash Renegade mascara to blend my own lashes in with the false ones. But then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, I hope you found it easy to follow, hope you're keeping safe and well, and I'll catch you all soon.